celebrate Christmas, right, Johnny?
Oh, of course we can. This team might actually be catching fire. They've won 2 in a row, 3 of their last 4, and 4 of their last 6.
Oh, thank goodness. Yay!
But I did have a Festivus poll prepared for this fan reaction video tonight, just in case it went the other way. You ever just want to get down on one knee and thank the hockey gods upstairs that Phil Forsberg is a Nashville Predator?
Hey, everybody, it's Jersey Guy.
Hold my beer.
Are you sure you want me here? Hat trick watch, anybody? Is it maybe somewhere that we owe a massive debt to the hockey gods?
Again and again and again.
Feeling like a kid again, Johnny. Is happening?
Is this happening? Is this happening?
This isn't an ad for some dang cookie.
I want a piece of that action.
Well, you don't have to tell me twice.
What do you have to tell me that is going to make me feel positive? And
Maybe the Titans won't let us down on Thursday.
Preds, walk it off!
Okay, on with Johnny's reaction video.
Predemption take you home.
Everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators defeat the Carolina Hurricanes by a final score of 5-2 on Christmas Eve, a term that I only really heard about this morning existed, inside Bridgestone Arena. On the back of a 23-save solid performance by UC Saros, a 3-assist night by Philip Forsberg, and 2 goals and 1 assist by Jonathan Marchessault, the Preds have won consecutive games for the first time in almost 2 months. It's actually been 3 whole years since the Preds went into the Christmas break on a roll back in the 2021-2022 season when they won 7 in a row. Coach Andrew Burnett decided to go with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen in this game, scratching Juuso Parson and also forcing to do this because Cole Smith is out. Yes, you guess it, everybody now, with a lower body injury. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. But here I thought he was an 82-game player a season. Preds may be catching a break as 35-year-old journeyman goalie Dustin Tokarski would suit up for them. Well, at least he's not a Zamboni driver who works for the Preds, who's dressing for the Hurricanes only in an emergency, right? Evidently, 90 seconds in is when I am made aware that Wes McCauley, everyone's favorite animated NHL referee, was officiating this game. And it was then at this point that he has to make his presence known by not just sending off 1 guy for roughing, no, 2 guys for roughing, apparently. He sends off William Carey for the Hurricanes and Nick Blankenburg, who was Saturday's hero for the Preds in overtime versus the Kings. It's a relatively even game through the first 10 minutes of the first period. But wouldn't you know it, with Jackson Blake in the box for hooking Jeremy Lauzon, it's the Canes who generate the first real serious scoring chance on a 2-on-1, but UC Saros bails out his team for a mental mistake. Alas, the Preds aren't able to convert on that initial power play, a number 1 unit that hasn't scored on a man advantage since November 30th. Just under 6.5 to go in the first period, though. It is that number 1 line that is cooking right now and would create the first serious opportunity. Philip Forsberg gets a pass down to Steven Stamkos, who's working behind the Canes net, and Stamkos gets a shot off that goes off of Canes defenseman Dmitry Orlov. It comes right back to Stamkos, which I'm assuming catches Dustin Tokarski off guard because Stamkos goes feisty right in on it, gets the shot off of the pad and whacks away and in. It's in the net. The Preds have the opening lead in this one, up 1-0. Look at that. It only took 35 games, but Steven Stamkos is in double digits in goals. Preds penalty kill unit, which is still going strong, shuts down a Canes chance with Luke Evangelista in the penalty box. As the Preds penalty expires, Luke Evangelista comes racing out of the penalty box, gets a clean-cut breakaway, and if not for a perfectly timed Dustin Tokarski poke check, Evangelista would have really cracked this game open. Alas, though, it is with the Preds in front, but barely up 1-0 after 20 minutes. I don't know about you guys, but I did appreciate the walk down memory lane to start off the second period. And yes, thank God, for the first time since the Flyers OT loss, I got to watch this game on NHL Center Ice on FanDuel Tennessee. Thank you, God. Finally, guys, get the Preds feed a lot more often. I'm thankful for it. Anyways, their story was about how 26 years ago tonight, during the Preds expansion season on December 23rd, 1998, the Preds played the Red Wings at what was then Bridgestone Arena, but it was then called Nashville Arena, with a snowstorm outside. The Preds won that game 5-3, had a decent fan turnout, where Thomas Vokoun made 50 saves. And as time is flying by in the second period, teams are trading chances, and oh my goodness me! 5.5 minutes into the second period, Ryan O'Reilly is robbed on a one-timer on Dustin Tatarski. Up to this point, Tatarski is keeping the Canes in this game, and it should be a lot more than 1-0 Predators. This is followed up by a minute later, Mark Janikowski from distance gets a beautiful tip on the Canes net, and somehow Tatarski gets that shot too. At the halfway mark of the second period, the Preds with a 17-10 shot advantage. Finally, the Preds' hard work is rewarded just over 8 minutes into the second period. Finally, the Preds' hard work is rewarded just over 8 minutes remaining in the second period. Preds off the rush, Tommy Novak, who has a clean lane into the Canes zone, and he saucers the puck over to a wide open Jonathan Marchessault, who simply says, "Oh, do I have time to tie my skate? Oh no, maybe I should just score and get this over with." Taps it home past Tatarski, his 11th of the season. And the Preds have a 2-0 lead on the Canes. Just over 4.5 minutes remaining in the second period, Luke Evangelista can make it 3-0 because he has Tatarski down at his mercy, but he doesn't have the angle, and no one behind him to set up. Preds escape the Canes chipping into the Predators' lead in that period when Shane Gostisbehere gets a puck by Sauce, brings it off of the post. Eventually, though, the period winds down, horn sounds, Preds doing the right things, playing this game the right way, outshooting the Canes 9-6 in the second period, 20-14 overall. And they also lead 2-0 after 2. The question remains, can they learn from Saturday and get this victory in 60 minutes and not have to work any overtime right before Christmas? Preds are 20 minutes away from a victory that would lead to back-to-back victories, and they're doing the little things right again, including Zachary Heroux drawing a holding the stick penalty on Dmitry Orlov. And remember earlier when I said the Preds power play units were struggling as of late? Well, somebody's ears must have been burning. We have an immediate response right off the power play face-off in the Canes zone. Philip Forsberg to Tatarski's right, gets it out front to Ryan O'Reilly, who one time's at home. Preds warming up now, up 3-0 on the Hurricanes. Just over 2.5 into the third period, Dmitry Orlov is involved again in the hockey machinations of this game because a shot off of his stick rides up McCarron's stick and hits him in the face. He would have to go off for repairs, but fortunately it would be okay. Just over 3 minutes into the third period now. Preds finally pouring it on off of assist by Colton Sissons, who would get his first assist of the season. Wow, Colton. Miss your offense, buddy. Anyways, Colton Sissons sets up Mark Janikowski, who skates out. He sees a double screen. He says, "Hey, why don't I throw this on net?" And it gets in. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's 4-0 Predators. If you've got your eggnog, drink up and pour some Wendy's Frosty in. It's Frosty time in Nashville 2 days before Christmas. Santa hat tip to Robbie Stanley on 102.5 The Game, who out of anybody left picked Mark Janikowski in Preds pick to click this morning. But hold everything, about 2 minutes later, 40 seconds apart between them, Jordan Staal and Sebastian Aho would cut the Preds lead to 4-2. And I'm thinking back to my earlier days making Preds fan reaction videos when the Preds had leads and either blew them or almost blew them. And I thought to myself, and I also tweeted it out, Preds, stop playing with your food. What would a Preds game be this season without a little paranoia right before Christmas that they were going to choke once again like they have the last 2 years right before Santa comes? We reached the halfway mark. Preds seem to have stopped the bleeding, even though overall by the end of the third period, the Canes would outshoot the Preds 13-5. Yes, a little bit of tweaking to work on to make sure you can slam the door after Christmas and into 2025. Jankowski with a hell of a move about 8.5 left to go in regulation to try and extend the Preds' lead, but he can't complete the play. Slavin for the Canes, just over 7 minutes to go, gets a shot off that typically I've seen before go past Saros because it catches him in a complicated area over his right shoulder, but Saros gets his arm up and somehow deflects it away. Preds would be wise to show some pushback as they are being outplayed and a tiny bit outshot to our concern. With 5.5 left to go in the third period, it's only a 2-goal lead, boys. The most dangerous lead in hockey. Last quarter of the third remains. The difference between a victory heading into Christmas and everybody in this fan base getting lumps of coal in their stocking. Under 4 minutes remaining in regulation, brind'amour pulls Tatarski over to the Canes net for the extra attacker. Bad mistake by Nick Blankenburg nearly makes it 4-3. Preds with the Canes cutting it closer, but the puck stays out. Forsberg clears. Jonathan Marchessault races after it to beat out the icing and puts the puck into the empty net, puts this game to bed. His second of the game puts it away that the Preds will not blow this game. The buzzer finally sounds. The Preds win this one. A little nervous in the third period, but relatively comfortably by the end. Final score 5-2 for the first time in nearly 2 months when they won 3 in a row. This team has won back-to-back games. Wow, so this team does remember how to win back-to-back games, and during this current hot streak they're on, they remember how to play like the better team through the majority, if not the entire game. Well, at this point, 35 games into the season, they sit 7th in the division. They're 7 points back of 6th, and they only have Chicago behind them in the divisional standings. But hey, at least they're not the Buffalo Sabres or the New York Islanders right now. Would you rather beat a team that snapped a 13-game losing streak, or would you rather beat a team that gave a win, losing 7-1 to the team that was in the middle of a 13-game losing streak? Don't watch the highlights. Just don't. It's ugly. Save yourself the hassle right before Christmas. As for the Preds, they now have 11 wins on this season. They're 3 wins away from 1,000 total as a franchise. They get 3 days off before they end up playing 3 games in 4 nights to close out the calendar year that is 2024. Andrew Burnett was quoted as saying, if this team can consistently win 2 out of 3, they might make a race out of this leading up to the end of March into early April. I also wonder what playing at that clip, while entirely possible, might do to their very soul. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media and interact with me during every Preds game or any Preds news that breaks by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about Predemption. And leaving you all on a high note, I want to wish my loyal Predemption viewers a very Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.